Hello and welcome back to Inner Peace Place. I'm Karen. Today's topic is how to get the most out of your meditation or prayer time. Some tips that I've learned over the years. I wanted to share some with you. The goal of meditation is one thing we need to decide on, really. The goal would be to connect with a higher power that's larger than yourself for guidance and or just communing energy with, sharing energy. So it doesn't have to be hearing words or asking for favors or whatever. It can be communing through energy. And you can commune with any being of light. Jesus, God, your higher self, your soul self, angels, Mother Earth. So people have names for the way they communicate. And there is no one way for the billions of us on this planet to communicate with an entity and or source that is bigger than we are. So that is our goal, is to expand ourselves into an ability to quiet the connection that we have with the earth plane, not get rid of it, just quiet it down and expand the energies around communing with an energy that is quieter, harder to touch, to expand on it. We also want to set an intention for our meditation. What do you want to accomplish? In that goal, it might be that I want to learn to still the mind and physical form quickly and in any location. Or it may be when I walk into this particular room, I will be able to open my awareness to the all that is, or whomever you are working with. So understand what your own time is. Some people watch a candlelight. Some people use guided meditations. They're listening to music and or words that are guiding them into some energy spaces. Some people are connected by being still without any external stimulus. So there's not one way to do this. Find something that feels good to you and stick with it for a while to determine whether or not, if you're not having success, but you felt a pull or a tug towards that particular type of meditation, then stick with it for a while and make sure that it really doesn't work for you before you look for another one. Hopping around for different meditation types can be a hobby for your personality self. So be careful with that one. Okay, so we have our goals and intention. Now we want to get physically comfortable. The only requirement I have found is that my back be straight. It seems to allow the energy flow to be more thorough. And I have played with that, done different positions. You can sit on the floor. You can sit on a zafu pillow. You can sit in a chair. You can lay down. All of these are ways of keeping your spine straight. And that's the only requirement I've found. Now, I have trouble if I lay down. I tend to go to sleep. So that doesn't work for me. But I know many people that meditate laying down, and they have very successful. So I'm comfortable. Now I want to get a time to do this meditation. So if I and my personality self agree that the house is less busy, there's less distraction at about this time of day, then that would be the time to pick. When you're not having to, I'm going to meditate, you guys be quiet for 30 minutes. That just, it's just too hard. Find a time that naturally flows for you. And then find a place in the house or outside that you don't feel that you need to protect yourself from anything. There's no walls of, you got to keep your ear open for this or that. A time and a place. And how often you do it is between you and the all that is. I try to meditate every day, but I know that I'm not in the normal camp as far as that goes. There are people that meditate for hours every day. That isn't me. 30 minutes, 45 minutes for me is pretty routine. But then again, that's my life's work. So if this is not your life's work, then I would say a shorter time would be quite acceptable. So you want to take, once you sit down or lay down, you want to take a moment to relax. Take a deep breath and release it. Take a couple of deep breaths, because what you're trying to do is trigger your personality self. Okay, this is the time that we've chosen together. I didn't push you away. I'm embracing you. We're going to now do this. Engaging your personality self, very important. So whenever I take a deep breath, I visualize that I'm expanding my isness, my body, my energy body, my light body, whatever you want to call it, my aura. I'm getting bigger with every breath, and I'm just slowing everything down, getting bigger, releasing, let things that have been bothering me go away. I usually will have done stretches if I'm not comfortable physically. So if I know that my back's been bothering me, or my leg or hip or whatever, I try to do some stretches, which also is another way to tell your brain, your personality self, hey, we're about to meditate. So that's another trick there. And as I'm breathing, I am testing the water to see how adventurous this meditation is going to be. So in other words, how busy is my personality self? How busy is my head? I can put my toe in the water and decide. If it looks like my mind is going to be an adventurous challenge, I try to invite it to play with me. No, I don't try to, I do. I invite my mind to join me in this adventure of finding something new. So we're used to the world and the energies around us. So I've said to my personality self when it's really active, hi there, join me. I'm about to connect with the all that is, embrace that connection. See if you can help me find a new energy or a new way to connect. So give it a task, embrace it. If I cannot get it to play in this sandbox with me, then I can do a couple of things. I have designed a balloon in my mind's eye, a beautiful helium-filled balloon. And then I can put some thoughts or parts of my brain and let it go play in the balloon, and it floats away. I watch it float away. Another way is to say, okay, 90% of me is still. But there's 10% of my brain, or whatever percentage you want to come up with, that is so excited it doesn't want to be still, kind of like a kid. Let that kid play over on the side. So in other words, you're giving permission to your personality self to be active. Again, all the meditation time is designed to do is to give us a heavily weighted awareness of the connection to the all that is, or the higher self. We don't have to have 100% connection. We can allow the personality self to play over there, similar to a child. I try to always give thanks to my chatterbox mind, because it is part of me, and I, with this work, have chosen to embrace all of me. So I don't consider a chatterbox mind to be a bad thing. I say, come, help me, come play. And sometimes kids want to play with mom or whomever, and sometimes they don't. And if they don't, you can set boundaries. You can play in this area, give me 15, 20 minutes, and I'll be with you. It works for me. See if it works for you. If I am physically uncomfortable and being distracted by it, what I'll do is visualize a white light coming from the area of discomfort and expanding it. So I'm sitting, laying, whatever I'm doing, taking deep breaths, and as my aura, bubble of energy, whatever you want to call it, my isness gets bigger, and I find an uncomfortable place in my physical form, then I will visualize light coming out of that and expanding out with that bubble. Sometimes I don't want a pinpoint area light. Let's say it's in my back, a spot in my back. I want to make that bigger. So all the energy that flows into that area of that back, of my back, gets bigger. Then it actually helps with the flow to that area so that it can feel more flow, and the side effect of that is the pain is reduced and sometimes goes away all the way. Now, one of the pitfalls, you do not want to try to repeat a meditation. There's a reason for that. When you have this wonderful, outlandishly awesome meditation and you're like, oh my gosh, if I could do that every time, this would be a piece of cake. The reason you shouldn't attempt to repeat a meditation is that the energy of you is not the same. The energy of the universe is not the same. It's not in the same place. There's always flow. So you can remember the feeling you had, you can embrace the previous meditation, but don't try to reenact it because you will feel a failure. And that's not where we want to go with this. We want to get better, have a more amazing meditation. So the intention would be to connect as thoroughly as possible for this moment in time. I'm not trying to see that magical blah, blah, blah that I saw or felt this blah, blah, blah that I felt. I am trying to, my goal is to relate to all that is in the most effective manner for this moment in time. In doing that, you're less likely to judge a meditation, the success or failure of it. In the past, I would say, oh, my mind was crazy. I just couldn't settle down. You know, that was not very successful. I was judging myself, giving myself a score. And actually, the time that I spent sitting and connecting, even with my busy head, was a success. You know, if you want to call something successful. In other words, I created the time. I went into the space that I normally meditate. I did all of these things. I was in the right place. My head was just busy. That's okay. It's okay. Don't judge. Remember, you are your own best friend in this as well. So if my mind is super busy and I keep hearing something over and over and over, you know, those repetitive thoughts, have a pencil and paper beside you whenever you meditate. It's a great idea because those thoughts just want to be heard and recognized and valued and appreciated. So I stop and go, oh, okay, and I write whatever it is down. And sometimes when I start writing, it becomes a very long process, and that may become my meditation. I don't judge. Sometimes I write just one or two sentences and then I can go back to my state of meditation. And the type of meditation that I use is a guided meditation. So I just go back and join the flow. Sometimes I can put those thoughts off to the side, but I do know that they're important. So what I've gotten into the habit of doing is writing down whatever was over there at the end of the meditation. And what that does is it teaches your personality habit of crazy mind that you will pay attention to it, but right now I'm focusing on something else. You're setting boundaries. But the fact that you write it down and give it value and attention, it learns that you're going to do that. And then it allows you to put it off to the side as good as possible. So if there's a noise in the room, I try to embrace it as opposed to pushing it away. Make it bigger, include it. And lastly, understand that we all connect to the world differently. We connect to all that is differently. So understand that your meditative process or your prayer time is going to be yours. And it may not look like anyone else's. And that's okay. Love yourself, love your time, and it will be perfect for you. If you have suggestions for us, for the family of Inner Peace Place, write it in the comments. Maybe you have an idea that would work for all of us. Love and light to you and your path and your meditative experience. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.